Freeze! It's a stitch up. Welcome to week 4, and this is the week that we hit a hotel. What am I talking about? So, this week in the studio, we have been working on some bedding for a local hotel. Now, this particular hotel, I will tell you what it is when we have the finished photos and we can share it, but it's not something that we normally do. So, there's going to be about 50 to 60 bed coverings in the end, which is a really big job, and they're quite big and heavy, but I'll tell you more about that a bit later. But the reason that I did this is because not only is it my favorite hotel in the local area, but the person who owns it has been a really wonderful help to myself and my kid, and just always been there in the background, and a really lovely person. So it's been really, really lovely to be able to be involved in this job. I'm really excited. It's been really fun because it means something to me. Now, what else is happening? Again, still alterations. Obviously, the remix is going on. And over Easter, finally, after 3.5 years of running classes here, you've had to walk through, cut your way with a machete through the jungle to get here. But we're putting in some pavers over Easter. So there's quite a few things going on as usual. Always the mess, trying to work towards getting out of the mess. You can see I've got a new sign up here, which is very exciting, which means it's all legit. It's all happening, people. We are definitely pushing forward with We Who Stitch, and I'm loving that you're here to watch this. Finally, I'm going to get organised for the year. I mean, it's only just about April, right? Well, it will be by the time you see this. I have no excuse. This is an Officeworks for $1. So I am going to also, in the next couple of days, write up some new classes and things for you and let you know our schedule for the year. Because again, that will hopefully keep me accountable. I really love you guys knowing that I'm going to be doing things because it's making me actually do it. So thank you very much again for that. That's great. So we've got some more We Who Stitch signs. I love them. I'm not sure which is your favorite color. I like all of them. Let me know. I'm going to call this cream, this pale pink, and that watermelon. Let me know. I'd love to know what's your favorite. So if you want to come along and do a workshop and learn how to make the remix here in the studio, there's going to be a workshop on the 1st of May. It's going to run all day. It's going to be reasonably quick, fast paced. There's limited spots available because there's only so many people I can fit in here. So if you want to join us on the day, go to our website, loomfabrics.com.au. It's a bit confusing at the moment with the two brandings, but this one's on loomfabrics.com.au. We Who Stitch will head you towards Loom Fabrics anyway at the moment. And look for the 1st of May workshop. You'll find us there. This week's tool for tool time is tailor's shears or tailor's scissors, whatever you like to call them. I just call them scissors. These are the ones that we had for sale on our website. These scissors are fantastic. I have got these beautiful scissors that I've had since I was 18. I think my mum gave them to me for my 18th birthday, I'm pretty sure. They're beautiful. Back then, they were hundreds of dollars for these scissors, and they have lasted a really long time. And they do hold special memories for me. Sometimes you will see me cutting with these. It's really lovely. But these ones are just the best. We have had these in the shop. I've had this pair for 4 years. In the shop every day, cutting, even cutting here. I've maybe had them sharpened 3 or 4 times of late, but that's because I keep cutting over pins with them. I'm not paying attention and I'm chopping through pins, which leaves a little burr. And then when you cut, you'll see there'll be one thread left, but you can get them sharpened at the local, I'll just take them to our local Mr. Fix-It. I think it's not much, under $15 to have them sharpened. And you can buy these for $60 on our website. They come in 2 sizes. The smaller, this is the 10-inch. There's a smaller size, 9-inch, and I think they're maybe $49. I'm not sure. Around about that. Now, the reason I wanted to tell you about these and why I like the big, heavy, they're not that heavy, heavier special scissor like this is because no one's going to pick this up and use it. They know it's your dressmaking scissors. They know it doesn't look like this. It's very obviously a fancy scissor. It makes you feel good when you're using it too. There are various others. I only have a right-handed version. I'm not sure if you can get these in a left-handed version or not. I could probably find out if anyone wanted to order something. Yeah, but these are a great they're perfect. They pick up the fabric nicely. It doesn't slip. It doesn't slide. They're a really great dressmaking scissor. I love them. You can, of course, buy lighter weight ones. I mean, these I use for paper. These are pretty ordinary. There are many different kinds you can buy, but I think in terms of value for money, our tailors' shears are fantastic. Awesome. I never cut paper with them, only fabric, but these will cut through any. So this segment is this week's fix. And although it's not actually a fix and it's actually making something new, it is some sewing tips that I did want to sort of run through with you. So this is the fabric we used for the throw covers over the beds for the particular hotel that we're talking about. And we had to put this edging on. Now, interestingly, just going back to the scissors, this is quite thick fabric. And I did actually cut these with my scissors. So, yeah, you can see they're very sharp. What we did was bind the edge. And because it's such thick binding, I actually just did it narrowly on the back because otherwise it was going to take a huge amount of fabric, like maybe 1/2 meter of fabric just for the binding. And also the other thing that happens when it's a really thick fabric like this binding, this is the test piece, you can sort of see it's a little bit twisted. So by the time you sew meters of bind and you get to the end, it does tend to start to get a bit of a pull on. As you sew the top layer, it's pushing the fabric. And because it's binding and because it's such a massive piece, you can't sew everything from the same direction. One seam is sewn one way and then the other one is sewn the other. So it does tend to get a bit of a twist through it on the bind. So it was a pretty complicated job. The other thing with it being so big and bulky, like I had to do it on the industrial machine. You wouldn't even try and do this on a domestic machine. It was actually heavy. Like they're heavy to pick up and manipulate and move around. So you can't just sit there for a whole day and do this. You kind of had to do it in pieces. The other thing that happens when you put this on a bed, because it's a velvet pile with a nap, if you're looking at it from this direction, it looks a different color to this direction. Now, the reason that we did it that way was so we could cut it continuous and not put a seam down the middle. I mean, we could have cut it that way so it looks the same from each side, but then it would have been the same down the middle and that wouldn't have been very nice. So these are very elegant finishes for the beds. They're really beautiful. We did look around it with a walking foot. If you know what that is, it's quite an advanced piece of machinery. You may be able to get one to fit your machine to stop this twisting so much. And yeah, that was what I wanted to tell you about it. So you can see the stitching on the back where I'd joined that row. They're really beautiful. It was such a nice job to be part of and they feel lovely. Welcome to segment 4, which is a new segment for us. It's called Fabrics, Facts or Fiction. So each week I'm going to tell you a little bit about a different type of fabric. So Marianne from Adelaide asked me to include this section and I thought, why was I not including it from the get-go? So thank you for that very kick in the pants I needed. So the question that Marianne had, she's a returning sewist, and she said there's lots of things online and how does she know which one to pick? So she was particularly referencing natural fibres that had been blended with other fibres like viscose, for instance. So the first thing that I would look for if I was buying fabric online is I would be going to someone who knows what they're talking about. There are some pretty good suppliers around, lots of people who do know what they're talking about. There's also some that are maybe a bit more questionable. Even when you're buying fabric from reputable suppliers, just like other retail items, like it comes from maybe not the same factory as it did last time you bought it. And so sometimes there are variations. So you really do want to be going to somebody who does know what they're talking about because typically there's no returns on cut fabric. So maybe you need to ask for a sample if you're really not sure. The other thing that makes it much easier to buy fabric online is if there's a video. So I try and put videos on mine. The main reason a video is good is because you get to see the drape and the weight. So these two fabrics have very different drapes. This is a linen viscose and it's got a beautiful drape to it. This is it's a cotton and poly blend, and obviously, they hem very differently. So you might have a photo of it hanging even, for instance, like this. Sometimes there's a photo of a swirl, like you'll see the fabric folded, but then also swirled. It gives you an idea of the kind of drape that the fabric has. That's then going to tell you, is it suitable for, a wrapped dress? No. But a pair of sturdy pants or a coat? Yes. And the opposite for this type of fabric. Other things that sometimes you might not pick up on when you're buying fabric online is like the opacity. So see, this is quite sheer. And the way you can gauge that is by the fabric weight. So the weight goes per square meter. And so this is probably about a 60 grams per square meter, for instance. A good linen that's reasonably opaque will be around 130, 150 grams. And then something that's a bit heavier is probably maybe 170, maybe 200 grams. I'll put a guide to the weights on our website in the fabric knowledge space and let you know and give you a bit more information about that. But key is a quality supplier that knows what they're talking about. Video if you can see it, and ask for a swatch if you're not sure. Hopefully that helps. We'll talk more about viscose and blending next week. And for this week's press play, I wanted to show you a hack that I'm working on with the Remix Boxy top. So this is a version called the Nice Top, and I've cut double fronts and bagged it out, which means I've turned it inside out so that when I open this, the idea is to wear this open as a top or closed, however you like. And then what I'm going to do, I've cut an extra long, I added extra width to the bottom panel, so gathers, and I'm going to gather this on. I'm just going to on that so you can actually see it. I'm going to gather that onto the hem and make it about sort of this long. The idea is it'll have a little frilly around the waist, and I've cut it a size bigger so that I can wear something underneath it. So it will hang. It's going to be really cute. This fabric we've got for sale as well. It's a beautiful linen viscose. It's called Sunshine and Mollyfops. I just love it. It's got so many beautiful bright colours in it. And I am sort of thinking it's going to be something I'm going to wear over a t-shirt in autumn just to stay a little bit warmer. I will have this one finished for you for next week. Super cool, huh? Love it. The Nice Top, which is a remix hack. If you know how to do it and add gathers and gather widths, typically you add about 1.5 or a half again to the width. If you know how to do it, go for it. You can use the pattern you've already got. If you don't know how to do it, let me know if you'd like me to give you some instructions for this hack. See you soon. Press play.